podcast. Joining me today is my co host, David Cochran. And today we are covering House of the Dragon, Season 2, Episode 7. The penultimate episode of this season, of
The
course.
penultimate.
And don't forget to check out some of our other episodes. We have our Deadpool 3 review, our coverage of San Diego Comic Con, had some pretty big moments there, and our JLA Avengers crossover comic review with JD and a couple TikTokers. Go check that out. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Why So Sidious Pod on Instagram, TikTok, X, and YouTube. Here we are live at the moment. Always posting fresh content. Go check it out. And this will be your official spoiler warning for Season 2, Episode 7, titled The Red Sewing.
Wow.
So we'll get a little quick summary before we jump in. The episode opens with Rhaenyra confronting Adam and his new dragon, but he is eager to serve his queen. King's Landing is still not doing well. Aemon struggles to maintain control while Larys pushes Aegon to heal as soon as possible. Over in Harrenhal, after grappling with nightmares, Daemon gains clarity and allies with Lord Tully to secure support for Rhaenyra from the Riverlands. Back in the dragon pit, all the dragon seeds gather to see who will be the next rider for Vermithor. As you can imagine, it erupts into chaos and carnage as he burns most of them alive. Hugh, a blacksmith, claims Vermithor, believing the dragon will help him secure a better future. Ulf, a local who believes he has Targaryen blood, bonds with Silverwing to prove his noble heritage. With these new allies, Rhaenyra's dragon power grows, enhancing her chances in the fight against her enemies. So, quick overall thoughts, Dave. What did you think about this penultimate episode?
I loved it. So the penultimate episode is always a big deal when it comes to Game of Thrones, all the way back to the first season where Ned Stark's, well, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones yet and you're starting off with House of the Dragon, cover your ears for 5 seconds. Season 1, penultimate episode was Ned Stark, right? Getting his head chopped off at the end of episode 9, Baelor. Season 2 was the Blackwater. Season 3, Red Wedding. I think it was the Red Wedding. So there's so many epic penultimates, the Battle of the Bastards, all this stuff. So it has a lot to live up to, and I think it did it. Well, I won't say it lived up to those episodes, but as far as this season as a whole, I think this was my favorite episode so far. I loved it. I loved the dialogue and the different conversations and scenes with the Tullys, and of course, I loved the dragons. I don't know what you call that. I guess the sewing of the people trying to train dragons, but that whole sequence with Vermithor and Silverwing, I absolutely loved all the way to the end. So I think it did its job as a penultimate, though I don't know where it ranks. And we were talking about doing a cold open. We didn't do it, but I am curious if kind of off the top of your head here, if you have like a favorite penultimate from Game of Thrones coming up to this.
Well,
I mean, you got the bells, season 8.
Shut up. I just watched Battle of the Blackwater last weekend. So
Okay.
And that is definitely up there for me. It's just it's all takes place at King's Landing. They don't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
But the Red Wedding is crazy. What's episode or season 4? It's not the Mountain and the Viper. It's after that, right? Is it Tyrion killing his dad?
No, Watchers on the Wall. It's the battle at the wall with the wildling. The crazy, which is an incredible episode. Like, that's probably my top 3 right there.
Yeah.
Battle of the Bastards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
And,
I kind of like the finale of season 6 too. That episode's insane.
That's with Cersei, right? The Sept.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was a 1-2 punch for season 6. Okay, so you think Blackwater probably?
I'd probably say Blackwater. That's kind of what I was slightly disappointed in this episode. I was just kind of expecting more with Team Green or like a little encounter, but I feel like the finale is going to be really good, so I'll be all right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was your feeling. Was this your favorite episode so far? Sorry, I sidetracked us with the Game of Thrones, but
I think Rook's Rest still a favorite.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's a good point. I kind of forgot about that insane episode, which I don't know how. Crap. Yeah, I take it back. Rook's Rest is better. Sorry, everybody. I'll go with the Rook's Rest too. Second best of the season, though.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I mean, I honestly feel like the season's been slightly dragging on. Like this episode, we got that one Daemon scene, and it was great. It was cool. It's like, okay, why were we doing that the last couple episodes instead of going back and back
Yeah.
and back? And so I'm wondering if they really are dragging this out into 4 seasons, and they're just trying to like fill some time here to get there.
Yeah. So the last report I did read, I think George R. R. Martin was the one who said it, and I believe he said that there will be a 4th season, or maybe he phrased it in the way of he expects a 4th season. I don't know that it's necessarily confirmed, but they're obviously going to give them as much rope as they want. As much as the showrunners wants to run this, HBO is going to give them the green light, because even though it's been a little bit slower, it's still an incredible show. But yeah, I agree, man. The season has been dragging a bit, and we had this discussion in the future when we discuss Rings of Power.
Wow.
Last year, Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, they aired at the same time, and so we kept comparing week by week episodes, which one was better. And by the end of it, surprisingly, we're all voting Rings of Power. So we had a discussion, season 2, will Rings of Power season 2 beat out House of the Dragon? And I think I said no. I think you said Rings of Power, and I said, I think it's going to be House of the Dragon, which, we'll find out in a few weeks what I said. Wink. But after the trailer that dropped for Rings of Power at San Diego Comic-Con, and then how this season's kind of been going, yeah, I think Rings of Power's got a shot to win back-to-back years, because it's been a slow season. I've loved it, but it's been slow.
Yeah, I agree. It's still a classic Game of Thrones. Every episode's been quality. There's no drop off. It's just a little bit slower, but that's okay.
Yeah. It's all right. Still love you.
$5 seasoning. All right, let's get into it.
On
Team
live,
Green.
too.
So Loras finds out about sea smoke, but it's not from a very reliable source, and he's not willing to risk it with Aemon. He's like, you know what? Let's just let that go into the wind. But in the background, you see Aemon stripping Aegon's friends of their white cloaks and sending them to the wall. So what did they do wrong exactly? I know they suck, and they're not qualified to be King's Guardsmen, but I feel like there has to be like something you did to be removed when it's for life.
So I believe Aemon used the attack at the Sept as an excuse to send them off, because he's been calling them lickspittles and morons this entire time. And Helena and Alicent almost lost their lives at the Sept from that riot that happened with the citizens. And remember, some of them were like Alicent was like, no, don't pull your sword out, and they just chopped their arms off. So I'm assuming that that's a reason. It's not a good reason, really. Nobody else would do that, would lose their cloak and be sent to the wall. But we know Aemon absolutely despises these people, and there's no way he's going to leave them to be in charge of his guard at this point. So that was his first opportunity. Exactly. Yeah, harsh, sucks, but you shouldn't have been white cloaks in the first place. You guys were kind of scumbags. So. Yeah.
You're more on that Marion Trant level. You're no Bears and Somi.
Right? Or even Janos Slint's ass.
Oh my god.
That guy is pathetic.
Aegon is almost walking, and then that fall looked painful. And he
Brody.
really is Harvey Two-Face now. Even like his ears gone on the side. Like, yeah, you're Harvey Dent.
Yeah, you're pretty ugly.
But Loras needs him back ASAP. He's like to the Grand Maester. He's like, you need to get him back up in a couple hours. Get him doing it again. It's like, damn, bro. Like, you really are not a fan of Aemon.
No. His whole reaction with getting the news from whoever it was that reported it to him, I forget who it was, about the dragon, but the acting there was just solid, because you could tell he was thinking about it, but the way he just dismissed him and everything. It was a good scene with Loras, and I gotta say, he is coming more and more into the Littlefinger / Varys role. Like, he's settling in very well. I feel like he's always on top of things. Now that he's not jacking off to feed, I'm enjoying his character a little bit more.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. and especially since there's not a lot of people you can root for on Team Green right now. So Loras is like, yeah, he's kind of trying to keep things being a little Otto Jr.
Yeah.
But Alicent, she's just totally over it. She wants to go out into the Kingswood with her King's Guard and have a little camping trip. She's just so
nice.
over it. She's going to go to bed with the sun out. Like, it's like 6:30 in the evening. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go to bed. Like, swimming in the lake. But this did make me think, like, where is Otto? Like, we haven't seen him all season now. Like, I'm really wondering why they haven't just shown one little clip of him, like, in a battle, like getting news of what's going on at King's Landing and seeing his reaction of that. Like, there's must be something. I hope he's in the finale.
I think he's gonna be. It was kind of like, remember last season when Viserys dismissed him as Hand of the King, and then we just never saw him again until the start of like episode 6, and they're at the funeral for Lena, Daemon's wife. And then all of a sudden he's standing there with the Hand of the King badge on again because Sir Strong died in that fire. But he was just gone for a couple episodes. Then all of a sudden he was just back as the Hand of the King in the first scene. So I think that's kind of I don't know. I think we're going to see him in this finale too. But he does have a habit of just dipping and then showing up later in the season.
No, I bet he shows up at the battle of... I feel like the Battle of Harrenhal is going to be in the finale, right? Where Kristen Cole meets Daemon and his army.
It has to. Did you watch the next up on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It looked like we saw dragons flying up to Harrenhal to meet Caraxes, or Caraxes looking off in the distance and seeing 2 dragons coming. So,
oh, thank God.
Kristen's on the way. Yeah, right? Like, you guys have no idea what Damon's been doing here. I've been looking for some familiar face. He's not himself. Get me out of here. But, yeah, Kristen's on his way to Harrenhal, so I really hope. And so I'm not going to spoil anything because, again, I don't remember everything perfectly. But our buddy Ben, who was on the show before, he said there's one of 2 events that he thinks is going to be in the finale that he's aware of from the books. I'm aware of one of them. I'm dreading it and looking forward to it, but I think this could be it. I think this moment could be it. Find out next week if I was right, but I'm hoping for a big showdown this finale. A little, because again, we don't have the 10 episode season, so it's like it almost makes it feel like you have to nail the penultimate and finale both as like epic episodes instead of just the penultimate and then a nice send off in episode 10. So we'll see, but I think we'll be in Harrenhal. Hopefully.
Let's talk about Harrenhal from this episode. Oscar Tully, the new Lord of Paramount of the Riverlands. So, so they're still loyal to Rhaenyra. He won't go back on his grandfather's word. He does feel like he has a frog in his throat. By the way he's talking, maybe English isn't his first language. I don't know exactly what's going on there. It's a very thick accent, but he's got balls this time. Or he was just playing the Game of Thrones well, and the first time he met him when he wasn't the Lord, he was just like acting naive and young and testing Daemon to see what kind of person he is. And then they get to the River Lords meeting, and Daemon wants them to answer the call and pledge their soldiers to him. And once again, like, this kid is just wise beyond his years. Damon's like, mind your tongue, boy. Like, you're speaking a little bit too much here. And the kid he won't stop throwing jabs. Like, he just keeps jabbing Daemon
so
every
sick.
second.
Yeah, this guy's an absolute scumbag. I get that. Yes, he's he just keeps. Yeah, he's insanely insecure. Yeah, he commits horrible. Just keeps just jabs. I loved it, bro. He was a totally different character, like you said, and I think partially because Grover, because this is this Oscar Tully, the young one?
Oscar, yeah.
Okay, so Grover was the dad, which, by the way, I have to throw out there. I think we talked about it before, but George R. R. Martin is such a weirdo because in this history book, he named this family, their lineage is Oscar, Grover, and I believe Grover's dad is Kermit. Or
no, Grover was
Oscar's
grandpa.
son is going to be Kermit.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think Grover was his grandpa. He didn't have it.
Grover was the grandpa.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're right. He was his grandpa. But so it's Kermit, Oscar, and Grover Tully.
Oh my God, that's
so for some reason, George R. R. Martin just named some characters after Muppets, and they're in the show now. Like, I don't know. It's hilarious. But this was awesome. So I loved the Lords of the Riverlands showing up, seeing all the different colors and costume design and everything. Like, it all looked Game of Thrones quality. It was really cool seeing all these different sides of the Riverlands showing up, down to Willem of Blackwood, or of House Blackwood. And it was just written so well. It felt like a peak Game of Thrones dialogue type of scene. Like, every aspect of it, the back and forth, leading all the way to the twist at the end with Willem Blackwood, totally being like, yeah, no, we'll rep with Daemon. And Daemon snaps at him and he's like, do you want my people's allegiance or not? And Daemon kind of gives him this looks like, son of a bitch, I got to take this kid's shit a little longer. Like, and he does. And again, like you said, he keeps throwing jabs, and then he calls out Willem Blackwood.
Right.
And Daemon, so that was interesting. Daemon had like really strong confliction with that. And I guess because he ordered him to do some of those things that he feels
Right.
guilty.
And he
Was
liked
that kind of it? Because he was so loyal to him, I guess,
liked
maybe
him,
that he didn't, because he had that pure loyalty to Daemon. He did, and so that's a tough guy, but obviously it was the right sacrifice to make. You got to get the Lords of the Riverlands. House Blackwood is nothing. Like, get everybody else.
Right.
God, it was just great. And the Tullys can be really awesome, bro. We got Brendan Tully, who is the uncle of Catelyn Stark. He's in Game of Thrones, also known as the Blackfish. Yeah. And we see him face off against Jaime, and he has some awesome scenes where he's just like, just telling Jaime off, like, yeah, I don't care. Attack our castle. We're not yielding. Like, I have way too much pride to just let you, like, come into our castle. So do what you must. But then you also get the Tullys, like Edmure Tully, which is Catelyn's brother. Guy, he couldn't hit the, God, what was it? Basically the Viking funeral. He could not hit the boat with the flaming arrow. And all the way to season 8, he stands up to make his claim as the king. And Sansa just cuts him off and goes, Uncle, why don't you sit down? He just got embarrassed. Like, so, but I love
on Catelyn.
Yeah, Catelyn's got some issues. Not a fan favorite over here for us. But the Tullys, I love that we saw the classic honor. Like, they honor their oaths. The Tullys is all about what's their house words? Honor.
Duty.
Oh, now I got to pull that up. Yeah,
Duty,
honor, duty, family, duty, honor, and that's exactly how it was portrayed. So they did it. I thought it was perfect. This scene was really, really cool. One of my favorite scenes of the season, honestly.
Yeah. Well, Brandon in the chat agrees. He says Sir Tully is the unwritten goat. It's Sansa Stark's ancestor, and you can tell.
Hell yeah, dude. Great addition to the show.
So after that, Daemon walks back in. He sees a dying Viserys. I love this scene. Talking about how Viserys says he never wanted the crown. Like, all the pain it caused crushes whoever wears it. And it's so true. Like, the burden of ruling the Seven Kingdoms is immense. And Daemon, he did strive for it all along. But I think with these last 2 episodes, I don't think Daemon wants the throne anymore. I think he will go back with Rhaenyra and support her now.
That is what it felt like, huh? Because we were discussing that was what he was having to break through mentally. All those hallucinations were about, do you actually want the throne, or did you just want recognition from your brother and from people, essentially? And it seems that he's finally broken through. Thank God, because again, he's been at Harrenhal for 6 episodes now, just tripping balls, not doing anything else. So it was nice to finally get a little bit of Daemon back, a little life back in Daemon. So he better pop off next episode, and he better not be his last. I swear to God, if you waste it. I don't know anything. I didn't talk to anybody. I don't know anything. But I swear to God, if this is his last episode.
I don't think it is.
He needs more redemption.
No, Rhaenyra's going to show up, and he's going to be like, Rhaenyra, Viserys is right inside. He's in here. Come and see him. They're going to walk in. No one's going to be sitting there. He's like, he's right there. She's like, what the hell is wrong with you? What's wrong with this place?
What has happened to you?
All right, let's move on to Team Black in the main events of this episode. So to kick things off, Rhaenyra and Adam face off, which was super cool seeing those 2 dragons stand across from each other on the beach. But he obviously wants to be a part of Team Black. He basically already is, with being aligned with Corlys. And he wants to learn the ways of the dragon. And he wants to serve his queen. And there's the roaring going back and forth. It was so sick. And like the little like barking they're doing, not like a full roar, just like they're talking to each other. But
it's like they were having their own little conversation. Like, hey man, I haven't seen you in a while. I've been seeing you just flying around solo. How you been, Sea Smoke?
Rhaenyra is very hesitant, obviously, but she's happy at the same time. And she asks him if he has any, Targaryen ancestors or relatives. And he won't say his dad is Corlys. Obviously, we know that he knows. So I'm surprised they keep keeping this a secret. Yes?
I don't think he is. Okay, so I was thinking the whole time. Megan was like, "Well, isn't he related?" I was like, "Yeah, he's. I'm pretty sure he's Alan's brother, so he's got to be." And then we did get confirmation that he is Alan's brother, but I think they're half brothers. I think they share a mom. That's
Really?
how I. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's how I interpreted the conversation between Adam and Alan. I was like, "Oh, so they had a different dad or something." I thought Adam said something about your father or something like that.
Right.
I'll have to go back and rewatch, but that was how I came away with it. But then how is he flying a dragon? So, there's got to be something there. But maybe I misinterpreted that scene.
Yeah, who knows?
Dangerous game if you're looking that up right now, but that was sick though.
Yeah,
That scene as
they're
a
brothers and illegitimate sons of Lord Corlys Velaryon.
okay, word, cool. That I like that more. I
Yeah.
kind of was bummed and was like, oh, well then there's a loose end right there that needs to be tied up. Okay, so they are sons of Corlys then. Yeah, that was so cool. And the fact that Rhaenyra had that disappointing, depressing failure earlier, and everybody's pissed at her, and she's trying to get a dragon rider, and then one just flies to her and immediately bends the knee and is like, "I've got your back." Like I'm fully like
Right.
all of that, and it just came right to her doorstep. So I thought that was pretty funny.
But she goes back to her council, and they're still not happy. They're still
Bro, that old
bitching,
guy.
complaining, and Corlys just needs to say something like, "No, no, we're good. That's my son. That's my bastard child. Like,
Hey, he's
don't
cool.
worry about him. He's cool. Like you're the hand. Like you'll be okay. Like everyone has bastards. Just say it's mine. Like, and things
Yeah,
will be way more cool with, especially with Jacaerys. He'll be like, okay, like he's basically my,
he's royal.
yeah, he's royal family in a way.
Yeah.
He's the same as me.
Guys, that's
Um,
cool. Renice gave me the okay before she died. I promise. I
yeah,
swear Renice was chill with
right.
this.
Yeah, exactly. Or just talk to Rhaenyra one on one, like private.
Yeah. Yeah. That old guy needs to get smacked again, bro. He obviously didn't
Yeah.
learn his lesson the first time.
You need to get the baby powder out again. Rhaenyra wants more though. She's not satisfied with just one more dragon rider, and Massaria knows about the bastards. She's been in those pleasure houses of King's Landing down in Flea Bottom, and the order of things have changed. Like you need to choose loyalty over family. Like if you have to, like it could backfire with the other houses of the Seven Kingdoms, but they're really not going to say anything to a Targaryen.
No, absolutely not. Especially with the dragon. Like, I do like the Massaria tie-in though, because I was wondering like, how is Rhaenyra gonna discover Ulf and Hugh in
Yeah.
Flea Bottom? Like, how in the world would they know that they're Targaryen blood? They're not gonna be in the books. But that makes perfect sense. Massaria knows. She's been around. She's heard the rumors. Ulf tells everybody in a 5-mile radius that he's a Targaryen son. So that one makes sense. But that was a lot. So even Megan said it when all the bastards are coming up to Dragonstone. Megan's like, "Are those all Targaryen bastards?" I was like, "Yeah, it's a lot. There's like 50 people." Like, but Aegon
Makes sense.
himself. Think of him, how many bastards himself has out there. So there's a lot of Targaryens over the years who people wanted to sleep with the Targaryen. I'm sure a lot of those bastards were from like 3 guys. But
Right.
that was cool. I like that scene. It compared to the books how Jace sent all the because Jace is the one who sends all the letters to Westeros saying, "Hey, come on, come all, we need dragon riders." And now he's the one who's freaking out at Rhaenyra for making this
Right.
decision. So interesting change there.
Right. But I mean, it's you don't want to send the message to Seven Kingdoms. Like the majority of Targaryen bastards are going to be Dragonstone and King's Landing.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Corlys meets up with Adam and basically, tells him to get that letter to King's Landing. Oh, Alan. Excuse me. He meets with Alan. He meets with Adam first. They have a quick discussion where he says, "My lord," and he's like, "Oh, my lord, you don't want to call me daddy." And then he talks to Alan and he gets that message to King's Landing. And then we get the Jace scene where he calls them mongrels. And this is the Crow calls the Raven black here, boy. Like, not a good look for my guy. But I do get it when he says, "Do you think I would have dark hair when you took him to bed?" Like, he thinks he's not special anymore. And, like, bringing all these bastards in puts him on the same level as them. So, like,
Right.
him being the heir, everyone knows he's a bastard and he's her heir. So she brings in all these other Targaryen bastards with dragons. It's like, I'm kind of in trouble.
Yeah, and back-to-back tough episodes for my guy after preaching and, absolutely being fully supportive of this dude being the MVP of the season. He has had back-to-back rough episodes, but I give him grace again because, like you said, this is like 15 years of repressing feelings of being a bastard all coming out at once. Because he hasn't really openly admitted it verbally, he just has always been rolling with the punches. Luke was the one who kept asking Jace, like, we're bastards. Is Harwin Strong our dad? And Jace would always kind of ignore it, move past it, sidestep it. And so it's like now he's finally acknowledging it. And all those years of trauma that he's stuffed down are all coming out in this scene where he's absolutely pissed at Rhaenyra. And he's like 15, puberty mixed with being a bastard, all that stuff. It's a tough outlook. But so I give him grace one more time. I think he'll change his mind and he'll warm up to it. I just think that was a tough moment for him.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, right. I see where he's coming from. He's not all bad.
Yeah.
And then cut to King's Landing. Word is Rhaenyra is recruiting small folk, Targaryen bastards. And Ulf sitting there like, I don't know, man. I don't think I can do this. When did you put the Team Green, Team Black up on names? I just noticed that.
I don't know what you're talking about. That was auto. This AI, they could tell which one of us liked what. There he is.
There he is. Hell yeah. Team Green. Okay. Ulf can't pass this opportunity up after all that shit he's talked, saying, I'm a Targaryen. I got Targaryen blood. Like, you're going to really back down now, bro? Like, okay, Ulf the Dragon Lord, let's go. And then we get a scene with Hugh talking about his mom and how he was ashamed of her. And a little backstory. I don't know if we fully talked about this before.
About his mom?
Uh-huh.
No, but yeah, go for it, because that's interesting.
So Hugh's implied mother is Sarah Targaryen, who was the 9th child of King Jaehaerys I and Queen Alysanne. She was known throughout Westeros for promiscuity?
Yeah. Promiscuity.
And was eventually disowned by her father, sent to live with the Silent Sisters, and meant to live out the remainder of her life in celibacy. So
she became a whore?
I don't know. Maybe after that, she was a whore. Then she was sent to be a Silent Sister.
That would make more sense.
Mm-hmm. So maybe she had to kind of leave him unwillingly, like was sent to the Silent Sisters and couldn't be a mother anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, because it seemed he had some spite there. And I think in the books, he doesn't. Either he doesn't know his mom or I forgot what it was, but he obviously had a little bit of spite going towards his mom. But Hugh is the man. And I was kind of worried rolling into this he was going to be Team Green because of his proximity to Team Green. Where was I going with that? I don't remember. Interesting backstory, though, with his mom and everything. He's got a lot of Targaryen blood in him, though. He's almost like a pure blood. I think you're muted.
Excuse me.
There you go. Well, I was going to say real quick, you think Rhaenyra made the right choice here doing this? Breaking the laws of the Targaryens and reaching out? Which, by the way, her line of, they want to talk trash, yada, yada, then I'll raise an army of bastards. That was pretty cold. I thought that was a cool line. But do you think she's making the right choice or...
It's tough. It's tough because this is the one thing that separates Targaryens from everyone else. And it's the reason why they rule the Seven Kingdoms, because they have dragons and no one else does. Like, how are you going to go against that? So it is still Targaryen blood, and you can tell they have the white hair. So it's, it works, I guess, but it is bending the rules.
Yeah. Jace is probably so pissed seeing all those people strolling with silver hair. Like all of you? Not one of you has brown hair, really? Like you all got the silver hair? That's wild. Strong genes.
Not a Baratheon.
Right?
So they all arrive on Dragonstone, and the dragon trainers are not happy about this abomination. The dragons are sacred beasts, not to be rid by anyone. So they're definitely not for this.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra lets them know the danger. She's reading the fine print. But maybe give them a day of lessons or teach them a little bit of Valyrian, instead of just like walking them out there. All right, here you go. Hopefully someone...
Or one at a time.
Yeah.
Maybe like take turns instead of 30 people all approaching Vermithor at once.
And yeah, they're stepping up for the second largest dragon, the Bronze Fury. I'd probably back out then and be like, I'm looking for something a little bit smaller, a little more, comfortable, maybe convertible on the top.
Like a
So,
compact
yeah.
car. Dude, that intro of Vermithor was awesome though. We've been waiting for him to come in. Obviously, we saw him kill. No, we saw Sea Smoke. This was the first time Vermithor stepped. Oh, her introduction, calling him the Bronze Fury, about Jaehaerys writing him the largest dragon in the world, second only to Vhagar, and he looks terrifying. He looks absolute. He's ugly as hell. But that shot of Rhaenyra turning and walking away with his head behind him, like the iconic shot of the season right there, it was beautiful. It was freaking beautiful. The CGI for Vermithor was amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's like the slow buildup. You hear the footsteps, and there's like the gust of wind blowing their hair, and you can't see it until the last second because of how dark the pit is. And I think the shot of the season is the shot from the side when she tames him, and it pans out, and she's like touching his little nose right there. Like, she's definitely a purebred Targaryen. Like, she just can walk up to any dragon and calm them down, soothe them. Like, there's definitely a difference there's something in their blood that makes them be able to do this.
For sure. And she grew up around them, and even when she was young, she was always riding Cyrax around. So she's always loved dragons. She's always had a deep connection with dragons. So it was cool to see her step up with the Dragon Masters, leaving them behind and rolling with the punches and just being an absolute boss about it.
And
she's
Quasimodo steps up first.
Quasimodo.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Well, yeah, I know.
No,
did the guy have a hunchback?
No, his face. His eyes all doesn't go well. He obviously dies.
No.
Ulf gets knocked off, and at first I was like, you know what? That's kind of funny in a way. Like,
I thought he died.
If he died, I'd be like, you know what? That's kind of funny. Like, his whole story was he's just badass, and he just gets knocked off by Vermithor and dies.
I was okay with it when I thought he died. I kind of laughed.
And Vermithor is cooking and eating them alive. Like, sometimes eating them while they're on fire, waiting until they are done burning. Like, he's doing all sorts of things. This is not going well at all. Rhaenyra. But as you see Rhaenyra standing up there, she's like, displaying the emotions so well of like the sacrifices she's having to make right now, and the past sacrifices she's already made. Like, it's not pretty or clean to win a war like this.
No, and her Kingsguard is like, Your Grace, we need to leave, and she's like, no, like, I'm watching this play out. Like, she had her calm, she had her composition there. Rhaenyra is definitely, she's back to being who I was hoping she would be, and Emma D'Arcy is killing it with the acting, nonverbal especially. Yeah, she really,
like episode 1. She didn't say she had one line.
She said one word or one line. Yep. No, she's had a great season.
They did some, when you see Hulk,
Hugh. Hell yeah, dude, he popped up.
Hulk was down there.
Puny dragon.
When Hugh was down there, it was some like Paranormal Activity POV shit, because like the camera was like running behind him, and then it like pans up to the dragon, and then it goes back down. It was kind of cool. I did that. They don't normally do that for Game of Thrones.
No, it was like a Godzilla terrifying scene, like the way they shot it. It really made you like, oh, that is a insanely scary situation there.
Like the guy's like crawling right in front of him on fire, and then he tries to save that girl, and he eventually does, because he runs up and says, I'm here now. And
he did.
Vermithor, I thought she was very close to dying. I thought she died at first.
For sure.
But how'd you feel about this Hugh taming Vermithor?
So meant to be for sure. It totally makes sense. I thought I called it upon further review. I did say Alan, not Hugh. But they're the two, kind of biggest imposing figures. So it makes sense that one of them would get the second largest dragon out there. And I think it's perfect. He was an awesome character. That primal scream he let out to Vermithor was awesome. And Vermithor kind of just sees like, oh yeah, I see you got some fire in you, like bows the head. I thought that whole taming thing was awesome. It was pretty rough. Hugh's wife just keeps telling him like, you can't leave. I'd rather be broke and have you alive. And he's like, nah, I got to do this. Like, we can't be broke. Also in the back of his head, like, no, I'm about to be a dragon rider. I'm not passing up on it. No, I got to do it for the family.
Yeah, totally. Man.
That man just wants his dragon, but it was
lady.
awesome. You'll be. I don't want to be a lady. No, you're gonna love it. I'm gonna go get that dragon.
Did their kid die? It kind of.
Did she?
I don't know for sure. They made it seem like their daughter passed away with one of the lines he said, and his wife like almost started crying, but because they didn't show.
Oh, I think she's still alive,
though, yeah.
but I think she is probably gonna die. I think that's a part. Well, I guess that's a spoiler. I don't know, but all in all, loved it. I thought it was a perfect use of Hugh taming the dragon. Yeah. What did you think?
No, I really liked it, especially that like act of bravery and like, all right, fuck this, like, and he was ready to die. It seemed like he's like, all right, I'm gonna ride this dragon, or I'm going out in a blaze of glory. So it was sick.
Yeah.
And let's get to Ulf. They do show him hit the branch on the way down, so that was kind of like, okay, that's how he was not able. That's how he didn't die. And he's running away, took a wrong turn, stepped on some dragon eggs. Like, come on, bro, what are you doing?
I thought for sure he was dead at that point. Like,
Yeah,
the dragon's going to kill you.
I don't know how he pulled this off. But Silverwing comes up and just keeps kind of like knocking him over with her nose. Like, okay. And he tames her. And Silverwing, of course, is Queen Alisane's dragon. Queen to Jaehaerys, who had Vermithor. So these two dragons have a bond for sure. They were definitely hanging out in the dragon pit for all these years.
Yeah.
And Ulf is half-brother to King Viserys and Daemon. He is son to Balon the Brave, their father. So he's got close ties. He's basically Rhaenyra's uncle. So I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll bang.
Yeah, you never know. It's lining up. It's in the stars, though. But yeah, Silverwing being the third largest living dragon is freaking awesome too. So Team Black just snagged two massive dragons. Silverwing, obviously the more docile one, I guess you would say, because Ulf didn't tame Silverwing. Silverwing tamed Ulf. Like, she just kept poking him until he finally gave up and closed his eyes and accepted his death. And it was like, once he finally accepted that he was going to die, Silverwing was like, all right, you can fly with me now. You like, I don't know. It was odd, and it also just screamed to me, hey, Rhaenyra, maybe start with Silverwing the next time you try to have a bunch of people tame a dragon. Maybe don't do the craziest, most aggressive one.
Yeah.
Maybe start with Silverwing, but
Know your dragon.
yeah, pretty funny, though, that Ulf is a dragon rider after that. And part of me was like, that's kind of weak the way he tamed it. Like, that wasn't very climactic. But then in the after show, I think Ryan Condal was talking about it, and he kind of said, like, well, we didn't go into detail about exactly how they tame the dragon or an exact method, because the truth is nobody in Westeros knows how that works. They don't know how you actually tame a dragon. It's kind of a mystical thing within the Targaryen blood and the dragon, so we didn't really explain each and every detail to how they all did it. Which in one way is, kind of a cop-out to not have to write it super well, but it worked for me. It was enough to be like, all right, I can accept that.
No, because that makes sense, because Rhaenyra, I mean, they're obviously adding their own dialogue to support their own theory, but when Rhaenyra walks away, she says, I can say no more. The dragons must decide, or the dragons must talk. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of it's different. It varies dragon to dragon.
Yeah, because all dragons they're very intelligent, and they're all their own beasts, so yeah. They're going to have different ways they get tamed.
And then cut back to King's Landing real fast. We have a small council meeting. Darren's dragon, Tessarion, has taken flight. He'll join us soon. So maybe he will show up in the finale, but I would still probably say the next season, because if he's just taking flight, does he really want to go out there in the middle of a crazy-ass battle? Like, probably not.
I don't know. He's a brave and honorable knight. So maybe he does pop into Harrenhal and get down. But Tessarion's described as a very, very beautiful dragon, like bright. I forgot all the different colors, but almost like purple and pink, but in a cool way. So I'm very curious to see how they do Tessarion. Looking forward to it.
And there's still chaos in the city. You can hear the townsfolk like just rioting and yelling, like pissed off, don't like Team Green anymore. And Silverwing has arrived. And at first I was thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? Like,
I was so mad.
I think at first I thought, okay, he couldn't control it. Like, he just hopped on and Silverwing took off. Like, let's go back to King's Landing and see what's going on.
Right.
And he's like, all right, let's go. And it's like, you're getting so close, dude. But it was a plan.
Yeah,
And Vhagar, Aemon sees it, runs out to Vhagar, and Vhagar's like looking back at him, like, "Come on, let's go fucking kill this dragon. I'm bloodthirsty.
You see this shit, man?
Like, I haven't killed a dragon in 2 weeks." But it's a trap, of course. It's a trap, and it's not very easy to get her to turn around. Like, he was like, "No, Vhagar, no," and like pulled up on that. So you're kind of right about with Hugh and Alan being like big guys that need to, control this big ass dragon, because you can't get them to turn around very easily when they're ready to fight.
No, Vhagar keeps disobeying Aemon, and I kind of feel like that's going to come into play. And maybe his downfall down at the end of the line, or I don't know, but it feels like they keep showing that intentionally. And she barely listened to Aemon there. But, dude, I was so mad during that scene. Like, Megan and I were watching that, and I was like, what are you doing, bro? Like, first, are you going to King's Landing to, like, fight for Team Green? And secondly, you're a moron, bro. What are you doing risking this dragon? And Rhaenyra's got some balls for setting up that trap, I will say. And it almost worked, but man, that shot of her standing on the cliffside with Vermithor landing behind her and Silverwing, what a shot right there. That was just pure Targaryen badass. Badassery. There you go.
Who's the big red one?
I think that was Vermithor.
No, Vermithor is like the golder one that was right behind her, and then there was like a big red one on the above Vermithor. Was that her dragon?
No, I think Cyrax was right behind her, the golden one.
Okay, Vermithor is more red because he looked more golden in the pit.
Well, and he's called the Bronze Fury, so I thought he was going to be gold too. But the only thing because I'm pretty positive that it was Cyrax behind Rhaenyra there. So my only thought was, well, I don't know who else that would be other than Vermithor. But I'm with you. I was thinking like, that's a red. I thought it was Meleys for a second. I was like, well, no, she's dead. So I don't know who that red. It had to have been Vermithor, but very weird being so red. I don't know. I'll pull the tape up, see what I can find.
So Team Bastard stacked. Like,
Stacked.
There's gonna have to be
team.
like a real bait and switch in the finale, because I don't remember what happens. But
No.
I did get some things spoiled by Joffrey and others, so that did happen.
Joffrey, still the villain. It's been 6 seasons and this dude is still the villain. But I know, dude, that scene, because it kicks right off, like, especially if you're just watching a reel, it's just, it kicks off with Rhaenyra Targaryen, and it's just like, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, he immediately tells how it ends. And luckily, I don't remember exactly what he said, but I know it did get spoiled for me. Cyrax is the one right behind her.
Okay.
And then Silverwing lands on the castle.
Yeah.
That has to be Vermithor, but it's not as red as I thought looking at it. That could be bronze and weird lighting. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we will be back covering the finale of this episode. Daviani, lasting thoughts? Any speculation, theories going into the finale?
I think it's going to be a Harrenhal showdown. I do. I think we're going to lose at least one main character in this finale. Maybe one from each team. But I am hoping the finale is the best of this season. If it's not the best episode of the season, I think season one won. But I think if this finale can be the best of the season and be an incredible episode, I think it has a chance at beating season 1 for me. But it's got a lot of work ahead of it, so we'll see.
Who do you think will survive, Ulf or Hugh? If you had to say. Or pick one.
Ulf. No, sorry. What the heck? That's not what I meant to say at all. Hugh. I don't know why I said that.
I think that's it.
Hugh for sure. Yeah.
All right, well, we will be back next week covering the episode. Hopefully it won't be so late in the week. It won't be late in the week. We'll be here live on YouTube Monday.
Yeah. Monday.
After the finale for sure.
Have to, right? Hey, shout out to Poxel, who just joined in. He says, I'm going to be honest, I don't know what House of Dragons is, but liked. Well, we appreciate you. You should watch it. It's pretty dope. Maybe don't watch this episode. Maybe go ahead and start season 1 and then come on back. Or if you want to, stick around. Well, we're done. But, stick around next time for the finale. We appreciate you joining. Yeah. It's a good show.
Yeah, we'll let you know what happened. All right, thank you. And we'll see you next time on Why So Sidious, a Nerd Podcast.